broken. And on the third day, the earth formed when spoken. God MCs, we separate the land from ocean. Plant the seeds, we triple up the greens. We grow in third degrees of burns. Every beat get roasted, holla back.
Here we are at the gate, loud and thunderous, ghetto and dignified, rural and gentrified, electrified, we burn. To your fences and boundaries like a forest fire. Why?
Yo. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Peace,
Doing
peace.
good.
Yeah.
Doing great.
We would like to formally welcome y'all to the Understanding Podcast. You know what I mean? The greatest podcast they may have never heard of, but we here, man.
Let's get it going.
That's right.
Over to my left, I got my main man, Sev Static. You know what I mean?
That's right. AKA the Point Man. What up? Over to the far right, we got my man knowle'ge.
What's going on, y'all? AKA Lord Sovereign, AKA the Cheshire Cat, because if it doesn't matter where you're going, it doesn't matter how you get there. And front and center, we got our main man, Cess Fifth.
Yes, sir. I'm here, Mr. Eternal Blackness, Mr. The Great, Mr. All that shit. You know what I mean? All that. Put it all together. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, we real happy to be here. It's been a long time coming for this.
That's right.
I think every time we get together, we have such amazing conversation. You know, we spoke about this maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. We should do a podcast. We should link up.
That's empirical. That's
it's only
fact.
right that we get it together, man. Word, man. But yo, before we get this thing started, we just want to do some housekeeping. Make sure everybody, like, comment, subscribe. If you got something to say, if you agree with something that we said, if you disagree, leave that joint in the comment box. We might check it out. We might not, but it's good to give some feedback. We want to get this engagement
Give us your thoughts.
going.
I read the comments. I read them. Ring the bell, set the notifications, whatever it is you got to do.
Yeah.
We want that engagement. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. So, yo, man.
Ooh.
How y'all feeling, man?
Doing great, bro. I'm healthy. Making plans.
How's the week, man? How's everybody's life?
Awesome. Pretty excellent.
It's busy, bro.
It's busy.
It's busy.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I'm grateful, but
Yeah.
it's like 50% draining and then 50% recharge. It's still crazy out here. We still feeling a lot of the day-to-day restrictions or advancements, evolvements from the whole, situation going on out there.
I don't even know what's going on out there.
You
bro.
know what's going on out
Bro,
there.
I got 2
The
jobs,
C,
bro. I
the
got
O.
2 jobs, 3 kids in college.
The C,
What
the
you want me to
O,
do,
the
bro?
V, the I, the
That's
D.
right.
You know what's going on out there. I know you want. I don't want to say it neither.
Bro, I'm an essential worker. I don't know about you.
I feel you. We're
So
all essential workers.
Bro, I'm telling you, my life has not stopped one bit. I go to every store I've been wanting to go to for the past 2 years. Put a little mask on, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Feel you.
Going to both
My
my
life
jobs.
hasn't stopped, but it's changed.
You wear the mask?
Word.
You seem like somebody that
My
wouldn't
life
wear
has
the
changed.
mask, man.
I wear the mask.
I stopped wearing the mask.
No,
man.
not in the stores. I mean, like, if it says as a courtesy, can you wear
Okay,
the mask? I
copy.
might wear it, but,
I stopped with that shit.
I respect the elderly.
I
If
get
they
it.
tell me, if I went over to visit you and your grandma's was like, hey, we'll put this,
right.
I might,
Okay.
I do
Houses
that.
and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely.
Everybody
But
else to
stores,
hell with them.
Nah, man, I'm out of there, man. You can
I mean,
smell
you
my
got a
fart,
choice.
then you could definitely
You got a choice. You
get
can
whatever
bounce.
that's gonna be in the air. You know what I
I
mean?
feel
You
you.
don't got to be there. You know what I mean? You can just bounce. Like,
I
when you
feel
take
you.
your shoes off in somebody's house, it's about respect for the house. So if I see a store and they say, yo, you got to wear a mask and I want to eat there, guess what? That's currency. So I'm going to walk in. I'm going to take the mask off when I sit down. It doesn't bother me, bro. There's so much other stuff going on, bro.
There's a lot going on.
I mean, even that could be, there's layers to that. You know what I'm saying? The whole mask thing and the mandates and
Right.
go on all day with that. But other than that, I'm not going to let that bother me, bro. I try to make I make my plans real tight on the weekends.
yeah, got to make the best of it.
I'm
Make the
trying
best of it.
Trying to eat better, trying to look better.
Trying to go to therapy, stay consistent with
100%.
it. That's what I'm
100%.
doing.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah,
You go to
every-
therapy?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, every
That's
month.
peace, man.
It's crazy. I'm trying to work on setting boundaries,
You got a black therapist?
I think he's multiracial.
Okay.
Multiracial.
My guy's white. He down at Whitney Young. I've been there since before I was 5, and I ain't never changed.
That's
my
what's up.
primary doctor, but I actually have had many conversations with the therapist there, and my guy, he sees white. But there's no black therapist at Whitney Young in Arbor Hill. Not one.
That hurts
And
me.
when but
That hurts
all
to
the
hear.
receptionists and nurses are black. You know what I mean? The therapists are not. And I'm like, yo, when you actually request somebody, a person of of color, if you want, as you would say. It's just like they said that they've looked into it, they've tried, they've actually put out like calls for people to come in and stuff because it's a big request.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And they ain't got it in Arbor Hill.
Right.
But then they get up the street, the fire department, they ain't got one black firefighter either. So that's where
my thing is,
we're
I
at.
would just wonder whether, you know, if it was somebody who's non-melanated, like would they really empathize with things that I'm going through as a black person? You know what I mean? Or would they talk to me on a therapist type level and give me like responses based on psychology and stuff like that, as opposed to having some sort of empathy, or not even empathy, because their job is not, I guess, to be empathetic with everything, but to sort of get to a solution with it. You know what I mean? Like,
You been to a therapist
but somebody
before?
who understands. You know what I mean?
You been to a therapist before?
When I was young, I got into some trouble and shit, so it was forced,
see.
and I was kind of like fronting the whole time. I
Regulated.
never really dug deep with somebody like that,
So you ain't
besides
been
wifey or something.
to a therapist, like a professional therapist, as an adult?
No,
All
not
right.
not as
I
an
think
adult.
If you went, it might change the way that you think, like what they do, or if they have an agenda and how they approach things and
Right.
what angle they approach from. You know what I mean? And the reason why I requested a black therapist, you know what I'm saying? Because I come from that aspect. Anyway, I want to know what they're thinking, and I want them to know what I'm saying and how I'm saying it and why I'm saying it, because I've been to 2 marriage counselors in the past. I'm divorced now, but I've been through 2 marriage counselors before, and both of them, their political background and their racial background was big on the input that they gave me.
Absolutely.
And I caught it. And
Yep.
I'm like, okay,
Yep.
this is going to be my last session. You know what I mean? So then when you switch up and go to try somebody else, it takes time to build a relationship. And then you figure out why they asking you certain things or why they respond a certain way, because their job is to take what you say and maybe bring it back to you to find like what you can do better.
100%. It's
Right.
definitely not it's not an instant oatmeal type
No,
of
it's
thing.
not.
Like you might have to
Right.
jump from therapist to therapist. You might go through 20, 25 of them. You know what I'm saying? Because it really depends on the person who you're dealing with. Or you might strike it, you might hit it big with the
Maybe.
second person or the
Yeah.
first person. But it really does it depends on the individual. Because like Sev was saying, and like I was going to suggest to you, but he went right into the point. People's individual personalities and bias and stances bleed into the work that they do, whether they want to admit it or not.
Right.
Like you're not gonna find somebody who's just 100% neutral, objective. You know, everyone's not as neutral as they feel like they are, impartial as they think they are, especially if they've been doing the job for a long, long time. And then you run the risk of bumping into somebody who might be a little bit jaded, might be a little bit,
Right.
that settles in. They start developing very hard stances, and the crazier thing, the thing I think is even riskier, especially with something like psychology, is seeing a problem, being able to diagnose a problem before you really get all the investigatory pieces and elements of it. You got
Right.
people who think, oh wow, I heard this thing, it was problematic, it was triggering, he has this, she has that. They feel like they can see it before they really get into it, and that can be dangerous depending on who the person is. But
Because you're building a relationship at the same time with them.
Absolutely.
Whether you're trying to keep it professional or not, as a resident, and then they're a doctor, they got to keep that disconnection, I guess, so you don't get too close
Right.
in a relationship. But your job is to definitely, because they're trying to figure you out and you're trying to figure them out.
Right. So
So you want to know that they empathize with the where you're coming from, your origin, and your
Right.
origin stories they're important. Just
Right.
like his origin story, the person you're with is important. It's about transparency. It's about communicating, telling them what you want, how you want it, and their job again is to take what you have put on the table and kind of put it together and to figure you out. And I've tried to ask some personal questions of my guy, and he's definitely been truthful. So at the same time, it's that two-way street. Everybody's there and they both getting therapy. The difference is that they can only go so far, and they know how to redirect. They're professionals at redirection and deflection.
Right. So let me ask you 2 questions. I know this is not really a topic that we wanted to talk about, but I'm kind of curious now that y'all, kind of got into this. The first one would be, how deep do y'all really go in with your therapist? Like, do you really go into some deep-seated thoughts and, you know what I mean? experiences. That's one. And then the second one is, what do you go to therapy for? Like, is it because you're personally going through some stuff, or is it just because you just want to have a soundboard to be able to talk out something that you may be going through or thinking about? Like what's the real reasoning for that?
The why is definitely the most important thing. The second thing that you brought up is figuring out the why. And you probably have a lot of people that haven't figured out the why when they're considering going to therapy. They just have a bunch of people telling them you should go to a therapist, you should see therapy.
Right.
They're falling under the influence that it's a good thing, but it won't necessarily be a useful tool if you don't have the why figured out. So for me, I was going to talk to the therapist because I wanted to focus on anger issues predominantly, and go into that may be attached to certain traumatic experiences in my past. So depending on what day it was and what avenue we go down, it could get extremely deep. It could be very lighthearted because, I'm working on certain things. I'm using certain exercises, certain tools. I'm just telling them about my day and how things may have triggered me, may not have triggered me, how I was able to diffuse certain situations, certain things like that. So every day won't be crazy deep, but it depends. But I think knowing that why is very important. And I don't know if a lot of people, I think the therapist or whoever you're working with, the professional, kind of falls into helping you figure that out. If you can't, like, that was part of it. The first couple questions that the person asked me was like, all right, why are you considering therapy? Like, what do you,
Right.
which sounds kind of funny. Like, you going, like, imagine going to a doctor. It's different in the sense of, imagine you going to a doctor and the doctor's asking you, like, why are you here? What are you here?
Know, did you have a mental breakdown? Were you sad? Did you suicide an issue? Did you have a certain family structure change that it's hard to deal with? You might have lost your job. And some people, it takes a lot of effort to actually set that appointment up, and then to actually go through, because like you said, you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
You don't know what to. So how do you answer that question when you get there? You don't just say anything, because you're going to get to that answer. It might not be some deep philosophical explanation about why you're there, but at some point, that professional is going to ask you some questions over and over, and different questions, and an answer is going to appear, and he's going to tell you what you should have answered with, you know what I mean? And he's going to show you, or he or she is going to show you something about yourself, you know what I mean? I go for peace of mind. I go for happiness, you know what I mean? I go to make myself better so I can serve the people around me, become a better friend, you know what I mean? Become a better person in general, so anybody I interact with, they know they're dealing with a peaceful person.
Absolutely.
And also, I want to know what my triggers are, because sometimes you don't know until later on. It's like, damn, because hindsight is 2020. Like, damn, I could have handled that better. Why do you walk away from an argument and then later on think of the best responses? Like, damn, I should have said this. Well, it's because you weren't who you truly are in that argument. You know what I mean? You ain't there to make sense. You're there to be right. You're there to be justified for what you're doing. And as opposed to being justified, we should be held accountable for our bullcrap. But therapy does help you come along, depending on what you're looking for. You know what I mean? You might have some childhood trauma to deal with first before you figure out how to get better day to day and dealing with one-on-one interactions.
Indeed.
Yeah, for real. Give me some names, man. Hook me up with some of y'all people, man.
Oh yeah.
I might want to slide through, man. See what I can unpack about myself. You know what I mean?
Get you a nice little group of people, something to pull from.
Right. Well, yeah, man. That was a good start, man. That was a good start. So yeah, in our first episode, man, this is kind of a long-awaited episode. A lot of people have talked to me. I'm pretty sure to y'all personally too, about our album. So in 2018, we dropped our self-titled debut album. Understanding. For those that don't know. Shout outs, first and foremost, shout outs to Deborah's son.
Shout outs to him.
Why?
Who laced
What did he
pretty
do?
much all the production in that whole joint.
That's his name?
That's his name.
Oh, the
That's the
production.
God.
Deborah's son?
That's the God.
Deborah's son. Okay.
Deborah's son is a monster with
Big
the
ups to Deborah's
productions,
son.
man.
Please,
That's
super
right.
duper shout outs to him.
But yeah, a lot of people have hit us up, man, because the album covered a lot of real I would say timeless concepts and just songs. Like the songs that we talked that we put together was just amazing. definitely a classic album. Maybe I'm
100%.
biased, but everybody I ever spoke to was like, "Yo, that shit was classic, man."
Bro, going
You
through
can't call your old stuff classic.
That shit was
You can.
classic, bro.
You
It's
can,
some
bro.
shit that I did
'Cause
that I
it's
know
not
it's
gonna
not
be
classic,
another.
right?
And plus, with the three of us, come on, bro. Like I'm
can't
feel-
call your stuff.
I'm on that. But I'm saying, I'm looking at it from the outside, bro. I'm like, I'm just blessed to be a part of the project. I'm excited to be a part of the project.
Absolutely.
And when I look at it as a fan, I'm like, first of all, Deborah's son,
Right.
hands down,
100%.
my man.
Every track.
a gem. I mean, the throwaway tracks, the cut and floor tracks. I mean, to say it's the throwaway or to say it's a cut and floor track is dismissive.
It is.
Right.
I could have taken any one of them and made a whole nother album.
Right,
You know what I mean? But to actually talk about your record from an outside view as a fan, like, I'm not really able to do that. But in a group, I can. You know what I mean? Because I see, like, okay, my little bitty part. Okay, there's my verse. Man, but damn, now you hear what knowledge said? You hear what Seth said?
Definitely.
Like,
It's
this
a
man-
different dynamic. When you
know
work
what
in
I
a
mean?
group,
So
it's
I-
definitely a different
So I
dynamic.
look at it like that, and I'm like, okay. Plus, when we do live stuff, I'm like, come on, man.
And you know, I'm saying it's a classic, but it's definitely been co-signed by the people I've spoken to. So a lot of people have called it a classic, man. So I'm just going, fuck it, it's a classic.
It's a classic. I got you.
It's a goddamn
Just say it.
classic.
I'm
man.
picking up what
say
you're
it.
putting down. I just, you know how it sound a little bit of
I feel you.
arrogant. My self-titled album.
You talking to three MCs right here, bro. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I feel you.
Yo, when I talk about like my music, my participation in music, it is always the past like 30 years when you talk about the brothers and the community that we've had a connection with, and then we come up to this understanding record. Like, I talk about this record. I don't talk about my solo stuff. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? I really don't. I talk about this record. I talk about other projects that I've been involved with, but because I get this feeling about, I get amped, I get hyped about the group stuff I do, because that's where the action is, bro. Like, you mean, come on,
it's
like
fun,
I can write lyrics all day and put out as many albums as I want, but the feeling that I want to get is the participation of the group. I'm like, yo, this is what we did together, bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I love
Listen,
that.
it feels better when you go to a fight and there's more than one of you on
Yes.
the same team.
Yes.
I'm like, this is
Yes.
what I'm talking about.
It's different. It's
Yeah.
different.
Now what you saying?
And not for nothing, I think we all went hard. Like, I heard a lot of our solo stuff, and I just feel like the stuff we did on the Understanding Project is like some of our best work, man.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrically, just the songs, the way they all came together. Deborah's son with the glue, man, it's classic, man.
Yeah, that was a key. He like a blacksmith, man. He gave us all the right weaponry
Right.
to do what we need to do as a group and as a collective. So
Then we had the PJ Cats joint.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So what song
And
y'all want
how-
to start with?
I enjoyed that.
How'd you even get that beat?
Yo, man, shout outs to PJ Cats, man. Just reaching out. Closed mouths don't get fed. I'm
don't.
never afraid to reach out to somebody and say, yo, what's up, man? You got something for us, especially if they already respect us as MCs. So, yeah, reached out, and that was it.
Yeah.
He sent over
Because
some
getting something from him, bro, is not easy, number one. I mean, like, he works with, like, specific artists.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not that he would second guess, you know what I'm saying, when a caliber of MC such as Seth, you know what I mean, fifth steps to him, but I'm saying, like, to have something on your record, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, okay, we got a full album with Deborah's son, then we got this PJ Cats. How does that fit in, and how does that, because I know in the beginning we wanted to just work with one producer.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I
then
think
we were
I
like,
think
yo.
that song was just so good that, and so
Yeah,
the
yeah.
song we talking about, by the way, is
Three Kings.
Three motherfucking kings, man.
Three Kings.
So fire, man.
Well,
So
who was
let's
on
just
it
start with
first,
that.
though?
Let's start with
Yeah,
that.
but who was on that first?
Who was on that
Who,
beat
verse?
first?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying who rhymed first, but
Oh.
when we heard, I thought I heard the actual beat and it had somebody else on it already, no? Or is that something you got from a project
Nah,
you did with you?
I think I was. It was one of those joints where I had already had the hook to. I reached out to him. Actually, no, it's coming back now. I had that beat before we was an actual group.
Yeah,
Got you.
That's what
And then I
remember.
had that
Something
hook,
like- something
and I
like
was
that.
gonna do
Sab,
something
you on
with
point,
me,
yeah.
you, and Kim Brisbane.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We was gonna do some
Yes,
joints,
yes,
and then
yes.
we ended up linking up as a group, and it was just a
Yeah.
perfect fit for the three of us. That's exactly what
Well,
it
actually,
was.
when we hooked up first, it was just on the idea that we was gonna get together and do 3 songs.
Right.
And I was like, yo, let's do some mixtape stuff.
Yeah.
Where the first song was Hungry.
Yep.
When it was the Apollo Brown beat called
Apollo,
Hungry.
yeah,
Yep.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, we gonna rhyme on this, and then we'll get 2 and then we all pick a joint. we'll just record it and just put it out for free.
Oh, the Apollo Brown joint
So
was
when we-
filthy too.
Yeah, I
crazy,
was just
bro.
listening to that before.
It was
I'm
y'all
like,
got
yo,
it.
how are we gonna replace this?
Right.
And then Deborah's son came through like,
And he
okay,
flipped the
yo,
whole thing, and it still was
Bro.
smooth.
bro,
Crazy.
natural.
Because it's a whole different vibe to the Apollo Brown joint, and the Deborah's son put more of a classic feel to it, in my opinion. So it's like it just had a lot of soul once he touched it. But yeah, that was crazy. I forgot all about the Three Kings joint being something that was planned already, kind of pre-planned, and then we revisited it.
Right.
Yep.
I remember.
I
A lot
enjoyed
of
Three
those,
Kings.
Those points in the record. Like I remember those lot of little pieces, little nuances that make the record like memorable. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I remember the PJ Cats record being like part of another thing, and then the Hungry Beat being Apollo Brown. You know what I mean? And just the way that it fit in, and I'm like, okay. And then it evolved from the 3 little demo joints, doing stuff for like live shows or whatever, because it was
Right.
originally supposed to be 3 joints, put them out, and then we either we record them or not, but we was gonna rock these at our solo shows.
Right.
As a, you know what I mean? Come on, as a special guest, we're gonna do 3 songs, and then boom. Then Seth was like, yo, I got a vision, and then it was just, and then he came back with like 8 beats with like 8 hooks. We're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. Yeah. Let's get it done. This is crazy.
Something like that happened. Not exactly, but
The
something just
arsenal.
like that. But yeah. You definitely switched it up and was like, yo, this is great. Let's do this instead. And
How do you keep a good thing going? That's what it was.
yo,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Let's get into to one of the songs, man. What song y'all want to unpack first? I
You
feel like
wanna-
we kind of
You gonna play it?
yeah. We'll play the
can
song.
play it.
We got some time. We could always cut it out afterwards if it's too long. in
Okay,
that
yeah.
Sense, but
I mean, you mentioned Three Kings, so we might as well.
right. So let's play that Three Kings, man. This is Three Kings by Understanding, produced by PJ Cass. Check it out. Vibe with us.
All right.
Three kings, one mic, God music, sunlight, hard hitters, bar spitters, go getters, Allah's children, big money, fly women, self knowledge, no limits, Africans, craftsmen, activists killing this rap shit.
Assalamu alaikum, shalom, hotep and votex phrases Euphrates like with Modep. The Elohim back at you, golden calves and what have you. Our words unravel, tongue your tower babbles the gravel. Serious we, 3 same kings of Orion. Left Easter eggs of our features peeking from Easter Island. Word to my uncle Benjamin Banneker, clock us if you want it. Our tribe is high science, doggone it, smack a diamond in the gleaming powder. Make a bitch create a queen about her. It's just part of our divinity. Past, present, and future balances the trinity. From Timbuktu to tenements, vivid symmetry. We never tie inspire miracles with lyrical matter. Empires appear, empirical data. Take knowledge, wisdom, understanding, throw them in the mix. You get 6. Equilibrium born, 3 gods exist.
Three kings, one mic, God music, sunlight,
I miss performing this song.
hard hitters,
You ain't the only one, bro. It's crazy.
Allah's children, big money,
Fly women,
self knowledge,
no limits.
Africans,
Seth
craftsmen,
was just killing all the hooks too.
activists killing
Crazy.
this rap shit. We still follow the dog, star through the night sky. Camel back into the sunrise, dropping jewels, that's how we pay tithes. 3 apostles who spit the gospel. Water seeds help dreams blossom. Show them how to prosper. Study shamans and witch doctors. Meditate, master every chakra. Keep digging to the true fossils. Treat women like queens, not sex objects. The real niggas is back. Kings, craftsmen. You trace us back far enough. We all African. I'm walking with the staff in my hand, looking for Magdalene. Fresh herbs straight from Kush, feeling extravagant. Train to seek knowledge yourself and be a graduate. Got free, still I came back like Harriet. Keep it Aquarian, the team is blessed. You need truth, ask for knowledge, several most sets. Understand
3 kings, 1 mic, God music, sunlight.
hard hitters, bar spitters, go
Hooks is crazy, bro. Like, you was coming through with the books ridiculous.
Women, self knowledge, no limits. Africans, craftsmen,
Said, where you at? There you
Activists
go.
killing this rap shit.
I stay supreme when I'm facing the mosh pit. And peace to a man who be traveling conscious. And gold chain wearers who reflect the sun. Respect the one who sits upon the square honest. My appetite for life, it keeps my mind full. I feed on vocabulary to rhyme through. Mind you thinking, where we gon' find you? On 3 3 levels beyond. We writing some haiku. I'm peeking, pegged all up in the red. And speak life to a dead man. Reach his essence. Find them uneducated. I love it, you hate it. They try to break them down, but we looking for greatness to be fly. So we raise boys to kings, man. We soar like royalty. Check the wingspan. Been around the globe in the songs to hit mics. We pen plays for life. Raising these kids right.
3 kings, 1 mic, God music, sunlight, hard hitters, bar spitters, go getters, Allah's children, big money, fly women, self knowledge, no limits, Africans, craftsmen, activists killing this rap shit.
Big up to PJ Cats.
I need some better sword sounds, but god damn.
Salute.
Woo!
Salute all the way around.
A lot to unpack. You know
That's an understatement. I don't
3
know.
kings, 1 mic, God music, sunlight, hard hitters, ball spitters, go getters, Allah's children. What?
You just saying
Big
all
money,
the key points of
fly
like
women.
any song we've ever written, ever.
Bruh.
Group
Bruh.
wise and solo wise.
Oh my gosh.
Just ran the gambit on that one hook.
Favorite lines? Y'all favorite lines in there?
Oh my goodness, bro.
Too many.
It's a lot.
I can't honestly.
a
I can't
lot.
even think of one right now. You'd have to like start. I didn't write nothing down. When, you know what I mean? But I know I get excited and I get a little rambunctious when I'm on stage. I hear you, I could do your whole verse on stage. I'm like, damn, I better slow down.
That's crazy.
Sev has some shits in there. The fucking I'm peeking head all up in the red. I didn't get that one at first, and then it hit me. I was like, oh, me being the engineer too. I was like, I see what you did there.
Yes.
I see what you did there.
It's a lot of those, man.
Yeah.
Little something.
The Easter Island joint, Knowledge was just going in, man.
I
You
love
always
that.
go in, man. Knowledge is like the sniper of the group, bro. Like,
Bro, he got some real undercover, underlying, like triple entendre stuff. It was like, what the? Oh, okay.
Knowledge is definitely the pace rapper of the group, bro. Like,
Man, it's just
we got to keep up with Knowledge because Knowledge
real.
just be his sword be
He got a
swinging.
I'm
boy.
humble.
You be like,
Reaction
God
of-
damn.
a chain reaction of like sense about him where he writes. Now he takes something and it goes to the next thing and the next thing, and I'm
Right.
like, what the? I'm like,
We all do that though. We
I mean,
all.
yeah,
it's
as MCs,
crazy.
I would agree with that for sure. You know what I mean? But
Right.
so if you was to say, hey, here's an example. Let's take this word and let's use some wordplay, some real wordplay. I would bring it in a direction that maybe a lot of other MCs would too. But your stuff is not necessarily common to think about. Like, damn, he
Right.
brought it over here in this direction.
I'm honored, bro.
And very
I'm honored. Is there
few-
anything? Is there any? Not to cut you off. Is there anything in your verse for this particular track that you probably wrote, or you were trying to illustrate that you feel most listeners didn't catch or didn't get? Something that you were
That's
trying
a
to,
good one.
Yeah.
like in your verses. I know it always happens where
Still follow the dog star through the night sky.
And then you say something.
You know what I'm serious?
after that,
A
like,
being 3 kings. You know the biblical stories, following the dog star through the night sky. That was something that I felt like a lot of people just don't catch unless you got some sort of consciousness and knowledge. You probably was over your head.
I'd have to see the lyrics, man. That'd be the best way to do it. I mean, if I see my own stuff in general.
Camo back into the sunrise.
yeah,
The visuals are always, I mean, the storytelling stuff.
Right.
When you're talking about like you said, Campbell back to the sunrise. It's like those things, man. Like the
Dropping
visual
jewels,
alone.
That's how
Yeah.
we pay tithes.
that's how we paid sides.
The
Yeah.
apostles will spit the
Gospel. Let trees blossom. Walking with the staff in my hand.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
stories behind that, not
Absolutely.
just the story behind that.
Right.
To actually, so the next line when it comes in, it's like, oh, okay, 3 kings, the
Yeah.
staff in his hand. Like
Right.
a lot of people may not make that connection.
Yeah, that's
And that is what I think makes us the group understanding, because I feel like even as a fan, you got to have a certain level of understanding about the world, whether it be esoteric knowledge, biblical knowledge, you know, or just religious knowledge, I'll say, or just knowledge in general, man.
That's solid.
We make
That's solid.
references to all different types of stuff, and I think as a person who's very knowledgeable, listening to it is very exciting because you're like, damn, I didn't know somebody else knew that. And then to be able to flip a bar about something that's very obscure or, sort of hidden knowledge, if you will, that shit is like amazing, man. I'm like, I can't wait to hear y'all verses every time we write something.
Every
'cause I
time.
know it's something in there. I'm
100%.
like, oh my God, bro. How did you start your verse off?
it was Assalamu alaikum shalom. So like I tried to, like a lot of what was going on, I still was focusing on the 3 So I'm focusing on 3 as a focal point. So I was mixing up, okay, the 3 Abrahamic religions. I tried to put that together. Then you mentioning Giza, it's 3 of those. You mentioned Orion's belt, it's 3 major stars in the constellation.
Right.
A lot of the stuff that I was doing was like 3 was at the center point of the map.
Right.
And then I just built off of it because I like to do elongated schemes to the point where the line is blurred. I'm going from one subject to the other, but they all correlate. So probably the 12th bar can still connect to the second if you're paying attention, because I'm going to stretch the scheme. Like, I think the part in my verse that I wasn't sure if people really got was the Big Ben. The Big Ben, word to my Uncle Benjamin Banneker, clock us if you want it.
Right.
I don't know if everybody
Yeah.
put that together because of, you know,
They might not have seen or don't know what story.
yeah,
about
like the
it.
history of him having to do, Big Ben having something to do with Benjamin Banneker.
Right.
And then after that, my tribe is high science, doggone it.
Doggone,
I
yeah.
tapped into the doggone like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
myth that,
We talked about that before. Though. I'm glad you're bringing it back.
it's
though. Yeah,
myth.
yeah.
It's myth. You know, it's alleged that Benjamin Banneker, he wasn't formally trained, or, you know, he didn't have formal education. So the place that he may have come from out of slavery would have been Mali and in West Africa, coming from the Dogon people, which is probably what made him so effective at architecture and building his almanacs, doing all those types of things.
Right.
That's in tune with the
I
whole
thought he had a
cosmos.
Moorish background as well. Is that
Might be.
Right.
Well,
That's all
I've
kinda in the
heard, you know,
same- yeah.
I've heard several stories.
Yeah.
But I thought, yeah, that's something that,
But that's the
throw that
thing,
together.
though. Is like you came up with the Dogon, you know what I mean, and you parlayed that wordplay. But if I was gonna use something like that, I may not have went in that direction. I probably would have said something about something the Dogon tribe, K9.
Yeah.
Nah, my K9 on my side.
I see what you're saying.
So I would have flipped it in almost like
That's a bar right there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
but, you talk-
For real though.
but the way we all think, obviously, it's different. But it's in that same ballpark. But we bring it in a way where it's like, okay, is he gonna go deep, metaphysical, astral plane? Like, yes, he is. But me, I'm like, okay, what's more practical? You know what I mean? Because when I'm writing, I'm not like, yo, let me write the deepest. Like, I used to be like that, and I've learned a lot from writing and getting the responses from certain songs. But also, am I satisfied when I'm done with this verse that
Absolutely.
took me a week to write? And I'm like, it goes over everybody's head. Right. And I'm like, when I'm 16, 18, 21, when I'm writing that deep, and I'm like, I have to learn to write something that still is deep, but also impresses people. I'm writing to impress myself,
down
for sure.
A little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the beauty. Like, that's what I like about understanding. When I'm writing with y'all, I feel like I can go deep. Because usually on my own solo work, I feel like, same way you just said, if I'm going too deep, I may pull it back some because I'm like, well, is everyone going to catch that? But I feel like we're understanding, we all just letting that shit go. Like, yo, if y'all don't catch it, yo, just wait for the podcast. And and we might break it down.
We might break it down
shit.
for you. But that's to a deeper depth, or what is it, to the third power cubed. What I think is dope about the group is that we use understanding, even balancing our approach and songs corresponding to one another. So it's like we do it. I think every song we found a way we attack or we approach the subject matter in ways that kind of bring balance between the three of us. You're not going to hear 3 people in a group that's all sounding the same. Right. Hate is a strong word, but I dislike listening to certain acts, whether they're singers or they're rappers or whatever, and it's just redundancy between the style in the group. They all sound alike, and it's almost like a contest to see who can rap better with the same style, and we don't have that problem. It's like every time we approach a certain song or a certain topic, we find a way to go about it different. It's not like, even when I listen to Sev, he got joints. It reminds me of you ever watched Do the Right Thing, and you had Radio Raheem, and he was talking about the love hate, and he was talking about with hate. It's with this that Cain iced his brother Abel, and then with this, love, the 5 fingers reach straight to the soul of man. That's what he does with his lyrics. Like it's more of a reaching the soul spiritual thing in a practical way. So when he's telling you, speak life to a dead man, reach his essence. Like he's not trying to have you lost in convolution. He's trying to give you something that you can really feel.
Right.
And so we get the job done.
Little mini thoughts that you gotta unpack that just stick with you. Just
Yes.
I appreciate
Every
that.
song.
I
Every
appreciate
song.
that, by the way. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, bro. MCs listen to other MCs, bro.
Right.
And if you don't, you should.
Straight up.
I do appreciate lyrics that hit straight to the heart, straight to the mind, of course. But I can appreciate when brothers get a little more deep and they show you something. Not afraid to do it, and they can do it in 2 bars or 4 bars.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and so I know we got to move on to the next joint, but I wanted to ask you. So when you're writing, right, and you're extending these 12-bar metaphors, if you will,
Yeah.
what's your approach? Do you keep a lot of that in your head, or do you jot to the side of the page and just keep thoughts and ideas and then work it in as you go? Like, what's your how do you practice with your sword?
It's crazy, bro. It's like a puzzle almost. It's almost like Tetris. So it's like if I can get the first, if we take that verse, Assalamu alaikum shalom, hotep and votex, phrases Euphrates like with mo depth. So, so you see,
slow
like,
it down.
You know what I'm saying? He just dished, like, for real though. So it's like, all right, now river, deep, depth. I probably had a good 3-4 ideas that I stretched out into the theme. I got some religions here and everything. So it's like playing Tetris. I knocked out.
Shit crazy.
I knocked out like 3 rows. But in getting rid of those 3 rows, a whole nother pattern appears that I gotta fill in the spots to get rid of.
Nice.
So it's like it opens up doors, or like being in a maze. You take a left, you could. The possibilities are limitless. If you choose to take the right on this, it'll fall that way. If you choose to go straight, it'll fall that way. So it's not a matter of can I do it. It's always a matter of how I'm gonna do it. So all I gotta do is get that one phrase or that one word, and then I can make the choice of I can take this and I can make it a paradox. And oh no, I could take this and I can stretch the same theme. I could have took that bar and talked about 5 more rivers.
Right.
Or I could have made it into a Moses spread. It could have went into so many different references.
Right.
So it's just like, it's a puzzle of finding out what you think is good.
Right.
What satisfies you. And I always I'll throw bars away because that is one thing I do intentionally is I write in a way where it's Easter eggs in it, where the listener, you gotta come back. You're not gonna get everything in one listen.
Right.
I want it to have a long shelf life, so I'll bury a lot of, all types of information and all types of. I use every little. I would not spare any literary mechanic if I feel like it's gonna make the listener come back and find something new. Because that's what
their understanding at the time might be limited.
Might be
Right.
Only of a certain subject. Then later on they hear something. I hear that stuff all the time from like MCs. I mean, there's so many examples of it too, and I've mentioned it before. But it's like you have something from 2000. You know what I mean? Then you listen to it 20 years later. It's like, oh, that's what he was referring to. Because
Right.
either you had to read a book, hear a conversation, see a movie or something. To get
I love that.
to get that reference. And
Understanding.
like
You got to increase your understanding.
when you have those gems, I know we've all done it, where it's like, yo, I could keep writing on this jewel right here, but let me just give you 4 bars with it. Now, recently, Sibby online, she said, hey, say something nice to me real quick. And people was leaving like 2 and 3 sentences and 4 sentences, little points of encouragement. But her point was to say something quick and something encouraging. So I just said, smile. So all those 4 sentences responses.
That brother got game. That's a smooth brother right there, man. Don't get it twisted. We got to drop Sev's song one day.
we got to. It's in the stash.
I'm just saying, like, so all those lines and lines and lines of encouragement that I could have easily said to her, and you know what I'm saying, and to reach other people as well. I'm like, yo, just smile. You know what I mean? Just practice that. Either I was being lazy with it, or I was being real deep with it, real philosophical with it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what it was. I'm just giving you this right here. But I could have went in this, like you said, I could have went in so many other directions. But let me just give you this, and hopefully you get it, because later on you'll be of another level of understanding to go, yo, that's a gem.
Yeah. Less can be more. Less can definitely be more. Less can make you. Less can be complicated.
Brother Thor with the hammer, bro. He dropped that hammer in real quick. Yeah, I mean. So yeah, I think that was dope, man. Y'all want to move to another song? Which one y'all thinking about, man? I got my eyes on a couple down. It's like everyone.
It's everyone
really unpack. This whole first episode could be. We might have to break this shit up, but nah.
We probably have to. That's what we do. We have to be volumes because the way.
Forgive us,
man.
Whoever's listening, just forgive us because we just talking about ourselves right now.
Yeah, that's
song.
crazy.
Right.
This music. It's
from the very start of it, string theory, the intro, it just gets it gets crazy. We have to do it in volumes.
So let's go into the song that's playing right now. This song right now is called America Fallen. America with the 3 KKK in that joint.
You know what I mean?
Produced by Deborah's son. Make sure y'all go stream the album. Check us out. Show us some love in the comments. But yeah, this is America Fallen. Understanding. Hold on.
Our country has fallen into the hands of a criminal, tyrannical government, controlled by the globalist elite. Our humanity is their greatest enemy.
Oh Lord, I'm so lost in this warfare. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, America's falling. Oh Lord, I'm so lost in this warfare. They say they in this near, I
Alice in the background with the illustrious vocals.
Oh yeah. Gotta get the job done.
I'm on there too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like Malcolm at the Autobahn, stand in front of the podium, knowing these cowards plotting, my family watching, but fuck it, no fear when you speak the truth. They fear men with knowledge, one who earned and learned wisdom to understand the problems. 3 wise men set forth, spreading freedom and power, unite the people like a ball fist. 5 fingers punching white supremacy to pork with incredible force. Speak equality for ivory, mahogany, and every molecule of God's entirety. 67 ways to change the world in my diary. Standing face to people who responsible for inhumane conditions, cause we tired of it. Wasteful builders, they destroying our environment. All we ate is McDonald's fries since we was born. 9 out of 10 cops blatantly break the law. 0 wink legs in the cipher, we stand strong. When the revolution starts, we the generals in the war. Salute. Lost in this warfare. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, America's falling. Oh Lord, I'm so lost in this warfare. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, America's falling.
I got a revolution in my veins, keep the riot live. On the front line, knowing that it's do or die. Keep a word for the poor so we recognize the truth when we see it now. Knowing that it's you and I see some dead bodies in the form of dope fiends. Resurrect the world, I gotta keep the flow clean. Dirty up the pace just to slow the chase down. Fools wanna act up quick, make them saints now. Battle tested, crews roll up all vested. Ain't nobody giving props but the main objective. They ain't selective. When them stray bullets hit, firm, slow burn, switch, they all getting tourniquets. I see the mothers already knew the outcome. The streets is King Kong, never to be outdone. Some things never change, mama, how come? We wanna live, but we dying.
So lost in this warfare. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, America's falling. Oh Lord, I'm so lost in this warfare. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, I can hear it calling. They say they in this near, America's falling.
Hey y'all, 3 the hard way. Sagan's an A-wall. The last days, pray to your savior, praises and napalm like kerosene and cedar lamps. Burn slow until you see the champs. 3-man regime versus the FEMA camps. Who said a copper soaked me up in fear fast, homie? I wouldn't shed a drop in a cloud of tear gas. Entire prison tears at here. Theaters of tyranny, burdened I build bars to cope. Hope you are hearing these. Houston, you have 3 problems. Music is just the start of them. Mind, body, and heart. We've mastered the art of martyrdom. Freedom and respect. Don't expect me to barter them. Philosophies elect, I show Jean-Paul Sartre them. Blame the blacksmiths when the swords do fly. Cause when the rich should go to war, it's the poor who die. Reality's deceiving, see convenience is flawed. But you can't fall out of bed when you sleep on the floor. Understand it.
Motherfucker. I wanted you to drop a motherfucker at the end of that. Just cause it was so hard.
That was gritty. I should have, we was trying to keep it.
Yeah, we want to keep everything performable.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't want to get too too uncut with it.
There's nothing wrong with self-editing, bro. It's about being mature and the direction we want to go in. knowing our audience, knowing where we're
Nah,
gonna
I
be,
know. I'm
and we
just-
don't know where we're gonna be when we be there. You know
That's
what I mean?
true. I just say it every time I hear that shit.
Yeah.
I know you was feeling the spirit.
Oh
It does that to you.
God.
But that joint, bro, that joint is phenomenal.
That's
man.
Mad Max on wax, bro. That's where I
awesome,
went.
bro.
That's how I was
love
feeling.
that song.
So what was y'all approach to the verses?
Well, I mean, the actual hook itself was the first thing, and that definitely set the tone.
That set the tone.
I definitely, I kind of presumed where the song could go. Right. You know what I mean? From both your perspective, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to keep it local. You know what I mean? On like a more personal level, talking about the neighborhood a little bit. It's a sad story. You know what I'm saying? Like moms in general.
Yes.
When they see their sons leave, they might not know if they're gonna come back. On some bull crap.
Yep.
Straight bullets. You know what I'm
Streets
saying?
is King Kong, never
Yes.
to be outdone.
And when you see you got a half life almost. You know what I mean? It's like, and moms, they love their kids, they love their children to the fullest. But then as they leave, you never know what's gonna come back. Right. He might be influenced by the negativity. He might be influenced by the positivity. I'm not trying to come from like I wasn't trying to come from like a real moral aspect, but it was like, how is he going to affect the household, and how is he going to affect the world when he goes out, and how's the world going to affect him? You know what I mean? So them stories is endless. So my approach was just to kind of keep it simple, but you know, I got the wordplay with the evens and the odds. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Going through, but you know, every time I write, I definitely want to say something that reaches every individual besides just MCs. So.
I like how you ended that verse, man. Mama, how come we want to live but we dying? Like, it's just that question, and I'm sure it happens in so many households with, you know, younger kids seeing what's happening out here in these streets and just being
100%.
like, you know, not even just the streets, but the world in general. Like, you know, we want to live but we dying out here. You know what I mean? Especially
Dying
after
financially.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially after the year we just had too. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, look at the economics of it all. Look at the health issues of it all. You know what I mean? Just look at peace of mind and just, you know what I'm saying, mental health, just to care for that. You're trying to go out and make money. You're trying to go out and make a difference. You know what I'm saying? But people out here trying to make war. You know what I mean? How are you going to come out? You coming out with a half life. Right. You're starting way back. The privileges that other people have, you know what I'm saying? When you come when you come out the gate, you never know what kind of support you're going to get. So when you have a mom who loves you and you're asking her these questions, what's she gonna do? If she tells you the truth, you might be discouraged to even try. That's a real conversation, bro. You know what I mean?
And you used the word, one of my favorite words. I don't think I ever used it in the track. Tourniquet.
Yep. Tourniquet.
I love that.
Straight
I was
up.
like, when I heard that, I was like, yo, I love that, man. Like,
all
that's just a fire word
tourniquets.
to
Yep.
use, bro. Knowledge, what about you, man? What was your approach to America's falling?
America falling, man. I don't know what else is there to say. When you hear that, it brought up every like post-apocalyptic, historical, revolutionary, government overthrow type idea I've ever had. Everything I've ever watched or, you know, saw, but even experienced. Because I think a lot of the songs, in particular this one, but a lot of the songs we came up with, it's like we reference things. History has a tendency to be so cyclical that when you talk on certain topics, it has a chance of being prophetic. Right. So we were mentioning things in the songs, and it was way before. And then riots started actually happening in the city. Things started actually happening that we mentioned, or was like, oh, talk about that, mention it. We had several instances within the year, or I won't say the year, but I'm probably the last couple years, maybe the last 2 to 3 years.
Right.
Definitely since we dropped that album, where they were saying Albany, we had the highest murder count that was happening. So if you look at what Sev is mentioning and what he's having you focused on, when he says bars like "Streets is King Kong, never to be outdone," and you trying to look for the context of where it's coming from, and he's trying to help you give awareness and a sense of urgency. A lot of those things really, they happen, but it's not just Albany, it's everywhere.
Right.
And that's just, I think our verses kind of, you know, some of it is micro, some of it is macro, but they all interconnect. So that's where I was just thinking about everything, like even with and then we bounced off of each other's verses and each other's ideas, because we talked about environmental issues.
Especially Mother Earth, definitely we went in that.
It was crazy. So
I want to put a pin in something you said, which was, damn, what did you just say? Goddamn.
What?
That's a sound effect we need in here.
It was a verse. It was the verse or something I was saying just in conversation.
Saying, about prophecies and verses.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I
the
think
same
we
thing.
should definitely talk about that one day. You know, deep dive into that because I definitely believe in that, and that's changed the way I write songs.
People, like you said it too, where it's like you could write something today in 2021,
Right.
and because music is definitely. Well, it should be timeless,
Mm-hmm.
especially as MCs. The bars we write, and we're writing about the times. You know what I'm saying? We're reflecting what's going on. It shows us that nothing has really changed.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has really changed. Park Ave in the Bronx is still the same way it was now than it was, you know what I'm saying, 60 years ago. And Park Ave over in Manhattan is still the same. Billionaires. You know, but it's all Park Ave. It's all Park Ave. So when you are an MC, you're a journalist, you're writing down what's going on, you're reflecting the times. 60 years ago, we still talking about rights.
Right.
We still talk about peace.
Yes.
We still talk about hunger, health issues. These are the things that people are still addressing in the same wars. The same people going to war, and the same conditions. So where it's at, it's like you said, like lyrics can be prophetic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can make any type of prophecy almost come true
Right.
with the right dude to come through.
Sometimes I feel like Malcolm at the Audubon, stand in front of the podium, knowing these cowards plotting, my family watching, but fuck it, no fear when you speak the truth.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
I want to talk about
That right
my
there.
verse on that shit. Yeah, definitely, man. Like no fear when you speak the truth. That was like as it came to me. Most of my verses just I feel like God be ghostwriting my shit, man. Real talk, I really do. Sometimes like I feel like I tap into another level and I'm just like pulling these thoughts and I'll be like, damn, where that shit come from?
Turn the
I'm sure we
black,
all
bro.
feel like that. Chill, bro.
Turn the black.
That's another topic for another day, brother.
Coming from the deep.
But I don't know if anybody caught this, but and this is something we should talk about too, because understanding, right? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. This is supreme mathematics that we pull from that I'm sure we all, know about, grew up on, are very aware of. You know what I mean?
You got to be in proximity to something in some kind of way. You or somebody you know.
Right. Shout outs to the nations of the gods and earth, clans
Peace.
13X, peace, gods. You know what I mean? But supreme mathematics. So through my verse, I dropped the number and I dropped the corresponding value of law.
You did.
You know what I mean? And did y'all catch that?
Yeah.
Of course, bro.
Yeah. I feel like I didn't hear that from anybody besides maybe y'all. I didn't hear that from anybody who caught that. So if y'all get a chance, listen to that verse and see it. Leave in the comments if you heard all 10 supreme mathematics put down in a verse. For those of y'all that don't know, a little history lesson. Supreme mathematics, 1 stood for knowledge, 2 for wisdom, 3 understanding, 4 for culture and freedom, 5 for power and refinement, 6 for equality, 7 for God, 8 for build and destroy, 9 for born, and 0 for cipher.
There we go.
You know what I mean? I think that like I was trying to do that. That was one of those verses where I was like really trying to weave in an underlying, theme throughout the whole verse. You know what I mean?
Did you say 0 though? At the end, after 9?
I said cipher. I didn't say 0.
I know. Okay.
I said cipher. I
He's
just
gonna
said
get
cipher.
From what
I
I
said
remember when
cipher.
you was doing, you was catching most of them. I'm like, okay. Then I heard the 9, then the born. I'm like, then he said cipher. I'm like, oh, maybe. I don't know if that was on purpose or.
Nah, check it out, man.
Because we was in the studio. I didn't.
Did you say 0?
No, I didn't say
Okay,
0. I
all
didn't
right.
say 0.
in the
You said
studio.
silence.
I didn't realize what he was doing until he got to wasteful builders. They destroying our environment. When he got to that, it was like that made me go through everything before it,
Yeah.
and then I got it.
See now this is a good point. On that note, when we reference like the different ways that you might go into like some
0 wink links in the cipher. I did say that. I was
Yeah.
like, hold on. I know I was trying to be
okay.
thorough. Hold on. 0
You
wink
got
links
it.
in the cipher. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, but go ahead.
But I was
Finish
gonna
what
say,
you're
like, when you bring something that you so divinely do, it's like you go in that direction. So right then and there, when you say, did you say it or he said it?
Which
quote?
one?
Ah, dang, bro.
Which one was it?
You just passed on to me what you just had. I just
He
got
gave you
totally
the lyric
absent-minded, bro,
fog.
and you cut me off.
saying. My bad, brother.
Dang it!
It wasn't the wasteful builders line, was it?
The wasteful builder. So you got the wasteful builder. So build, destroy. You know what I'm saying? Then that could be 8. And with 8, you would have came up with something like infinite. You know what I mean? After that, sideways. But you kind of like you did that in this other posse cut
Yeah,
track. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, peace to that song too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? To the
man.
brothers who were involved with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm saying like when you have that moment, you can go into so many different directions. But
Right.
then when you said 8, 9, and then of course now you're saying 0, I'm like, a lot of brothers, I appreciate that, bro. You know what I mean? Because it shows that you ain't just rhyming. You're not just
Right.
writing little
Yeah.
fancy little raps, which I appreciate too. But when you put something in it that's a part of your life, it's also a part of other people's lives, and it connects people. I love walking through airports or walking wherever I'm at. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of different types of people, and you recognize people from like the nation, or you recognize like hip hop cats,
100%.
or other travelers of the same mindset. And it's just a vibe, it's a frequency. So when you see or hear those little symbols, you kind of connect with it. You know what I mean? Gravitate towards it.
That's a fact. I remember we did a
Art.
I think we may have all been present. This was definitely was pre-understanding. But I remember there was a performance in Newburgh that we came down. There was a lot of local acts from the Albany area that came down to Newburgh too. And being that my stage name is Knowledge, after performing some of my solo tracks, it was a couple guys in Newburgh that came to me and talked with me and built with me a little bit after the performance. Just like, oh, what would you say your name was? Right. The references that's in the song, people catch it because it's intentional.
Right.
You're gonna attract people that's on that same frequency to what you're writing and what you're putting out there. It's a fact.
Fire, man. Definitely one of my favorite joints on there. I mean, it's just like choosing a favorite kid, man.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite. It's just I have moods that I'm in, and it's like, yo, this is the theme song to my life at the moment. You know, like Mother Earth is crazy, Family Ties is crazy.
Which one y'all want to go into now?
I don't know, man. Need Love.
I think Need Love is definitely, it might be a little slept on by.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
you know
so
what I mean?
too.
Slept on.
Underrated.
When I
Not
listen to that,
not by us, but I feel like just
yeah. I mean, like when we talk about like songs that are like we think are like effective, you know what I mean? That right there kind of falls under the radar sometimes, and even in our conversations.
right.
You know what I mean? Not that it's whack or anything, but
Nah, let's get into that,
Yeah.
man. So this one right here is called Need Love, Understanding, produced by Deborah's son. Check it out.
these drums are crazy too. And that's not
That's Deborah's son.
Yeah.
That's him on the hook.
Yeah. Deborah's son.
Crazy.
But fam, hey yo, it's been getting ugly out. Pay your mind to the way they giving life out. It's lights out on the block, so we fighting us. You and I against each other, no escape, light 'em up. In the back of a hearse. If you don't know what God look like, you will soon after this verse. In the flesh, I am a titan for sure. How we gonna race the youth when they designed for war? Looking at life uncivilized, faced with death. A checker passed on the books, but now they playing with chess upon. In the game with no queen to protect. It's wartime, man, in here better bring your tech. Now the G and buy property, playing for keeps. Got 'em all suckered in, they all praying for peace. I'm silent, thinking all where my love should go. I'm back to the battleground, so wonderful, I'm living.
Man. Oh my God. Too many times I zoned out listening
That's
to
my
this.
favorite part with the whole chest breakdown.
Right.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Is it human emotion or God? What is it really? Heard a fiend said he loved smoking crack. It
sounded silly.
I asked him, what you know about love? He said to me, what was love when the cops killed his pops back in the 60s? His little brother drowned, his little sister was with him. She fell in a deep depression and now she drowned in the liquor. His mom just passed and crack was her Achilles. He's so numb to the world, only crack give him the feelings
The
of
love.
love. I bear with him cause my story wasn't half as bad. We was poor on money, we was rich from all the love we had. Peace to Willa May and Willa Dean for giving all of that. Could have been the smartest, most heartless to ever walk the trap. Or up north swinging shanks like a Thundercat. Doing numbers in the box, just another stat. I told the fiend the same thing I had to tell my dad. When you love yourself, you can break the habit.
Rest in
Pray
peace
for him, y'all.
Damn. Rest in peace, Pops. Word.
Rest in power, man.
They say love love is a waste of time. Mistake inclined, a blind, acquired taste within face design. Does love see a starving stranger with a plan to feed? I build a store, demands a fee for its family's needs. Greet a storage bouquets for your wife from a florist. Was once life ripped away from the floors of a forest. Is love good intention? Philanthropic actions. $1 million donation for deduction in taxes. Does love act decisive? Does love hurt? Does love work? Had a dead-end job because of sacrifices? Can love destroy, or is love the only one preserving? An underdog, does it understand the undeserving? Are love and truth related? Are we so used to abuse that we refuse love's proofs and often choose our hatred? If love's a long-term goal, we falling short of it. Shortages of love's call, we need more of it.
They say we don't need love. They say we don't need it. Oh Lord, don't need it. Oh Lord. They say we don't need love. They say we don't need it. Oh Lord, don't need it. Oh Lord.
Shout outs to Devil Son, man.
100%.
Definitely flexed the vocals and just blessed us with a fire ass, just a palette for us to just.
The whole concept, bro.
Oh my God,
right there.
man. Draw with, man. That was amazing.
And again, it's like a sad story, bro. Like you feel that, you know what I mean? Like the frequency is like across the board felt the same way. You know what I'm saying? It's about loss. It's not just about, hey, I love you. It's Valentine's Day. Here's the box of chocolate. It's some other stuff when you describe what love is and what love is not. You know what I mean? It's like your addiction is not love, but from his perspective, that's the only way he can
That's
get
a true
love.
story.
Yeah.
That's a
Word
true
born,
story.
you know? Yeah, so it's like if you telling this man, yo, stop doing crack, you taking the love out of his life. You're taking the peace out of his life. But we look at it as dysfunction. We look at it as it's negative because it's addiction and it tears other people's life apart.
Where did you go? Like, why the choice to get so personal? Because that's really deep in the heart chakra. That's like going into that. Like it went almost into story mode.
Right.
Because you mentioned your dad
to tap into that.
It was just a feeling, man. I think just the emotion of the song itself just kind of brought that out of me. You know what I mean? It made me feel like I had to go there, and then it started making me think about love. It really, like, the thing I like about our music is, you know, when I approach these songs, I feel like I stand naked, and I gotta really like dig deep into the concept, and I want to pull from it. I want to really bring the understanding out of whatever topic we're talking about, you know, and then having conversations. Yo, shout outs to Joe and Newbird, who was telling me that stuff. You know, he's a wild boy telling me he loves smoking crack, but then he started getting into the story of his parents and his mom losing his dad, his mom being on drugs, sister and stuff. I was just like, damn, like it's one of those stories where when you hear something that visceral, you never forget nothing like that. So I definitely felt like this was the track for me to really kind of tell that story. And then at the end of the verse, what did I say? Oh yeah, I was telling him the same thing I had to tell my father. I had a similar conversation with my father, who was also, addicted to narcotics and shit. And I had to tell him, like, you know what I mean? Like, when you love yourself, like, that's where the love is. You got to love yourself first, man. You got to love yourself more than what you're doing out here in these streets, man. And so I just felt like it was necessary for this song. It's crazy now when I think about it, losing my father, weeks ago, and then just hearing that again. I haven't heard that song. This is the one song I haven't heard in a minute. That shit kind of rang a little different, man.
That's a little
different right now, man.
That's amazing. It's insightful. It's insightful because aspect of that verse I really love is you built a bridge of empathy, going through that story, because it seems like just a random conversation. You talking about somebody who's addicted in the community that you happen to come in contact with, and you start up a conversation with him. But the thing that he's talking about, I bear with him because my story wasn't half as bad. And even though you saying that, it causes you to go into a whole nother dimension of introspection to you, so you relate to him.
Right.
And even when you're saying it's not half as bad, in certain ways, it's just as, it's just as heavy, just as important. It's just as pivotal. But you peeling back those layers of the onion to get there, and build that relationship with the person to understand what he's, not only what he's saying, but understanding how he's living.
Right.
That's the lesson. I feel like that's the crown jewel in the whole verse. But I love stories that got a point to it. Like, that just hit the nail on the head for me.
Love is a practice, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really got to dig deep to put it forward, and to really put it into your physical world, which is basically you actually going out of your way and showing somebody you love them. Not just, of course, telling them, but because they need the encouragement too, but actually practicing a way about yourself in a physical way that you go about your day. The end result is going to be giving somebody some love that may not even deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? May not even deserve your time as a human being, because their time is dedicated to something else other than perpetuating a positive relationship with you. I have family members, you know what I mean, who deal with addiction. And it's like, you have to really, for real, find that thing about them that you miss, that you actually love, and that you can still see in the middle of their addiction. You know what I mean? So to practice that love is definitely, it's difficult. It can be challenging. You know what I mean? To tell somebody you love them that you know they ain't doing the right thing. And I'm not even saying doing that drug is the wrong thing. I'm not talking about the moral aspect. I'm talking about, like, you're messing up not just your life, but you're messing up everybody's life around you that has a love connection to you. That frequency has now been compromised.
It's a ripple effect. That's what I wanted to ask you though, Sev. Like, you talk a lot about time and mortality, and you address the youth a lot. Like, where do you go when you come up with those kinds of rhymes? Do you
Talking
thinking
to myself.
You talking to yourself? Because I'm like, do you
myself.
think about your
And my
children,
friends.
and especially when you talk about you address the youth?
Hardly talking about my kids. Hardly. Like, I give props. I tell them I love them in songs, but when I talk about, like, because they have advantages that I didn't have coming up. You know what I mean? They have advantages that other people don't have right now. So when I reference the youth, like you said, I'm talking to my younger self. I'm talking about the people I came up around me, but of course doing clinician work and stuff like that with youth and stuff, and still dealing with youth today, you know what I'm saying, through Fly Right, you know what I mean, and also I work with young people at this at my other job, you know what I mean, and I love communicating and listening to young people. So when I see them, I see not just the surface, I see the story that they have that they bring forth, you know what I mean, and I can relate because they come from a similar background. They talk like me, they look like me, but of course they think differently and they approach ideas and certain situations differently, of course. You know, they think like children, you know what I mean? And I'm doing my best to actually be a productive citizen when I'm around my people, you know what I'm saying? And if I can give something back, like I don't want to be that guy when I see a young person to always drop a jewel, but I'm that guy now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they need it, man.
That's beautiful. That's the beautiful
I can't tell
thing
you
about
how many
it.
times in my life where somebody just dropped a random jewel on me, but that shit stuck with me and it really helped me. So I think it was meant to be. Whenever you do that, man, it was meant to be. You don't ever feel bad for that, man.
Yeah, his
I had
joints is
brothers
always.
like that back in the day, bro. I remember kids always coming up, and I'd be the last one still listening to what they were saying. I'm like, he's driving that car. He looks healthy. He's got this house. You know what I mean? He's got a relationship. You could see his strides in his life. You know, and the outcome has come to be something peaceful. And I'm like, okay, where are those examples in my own life at my house? You know what I mean? Besides my mother and my grandmother. But I'm like, if I looked anywhere else but besides them, and I only had those people in my family as the influence, I don't think I'd be doing so well.
That's beautiful, man. Because you got a strong call to community every time when you drop your joints.
Thank you, man.
We need love, man.
Yeah.
We need more love out here, especially nowadays, man. I think that's shout outs to Deborah's son once again for that amazing hook.
Supreme
Set the
salutes
stage for us, man.
Supreme salutes.
Word.
Yes.
I don't know what I was thinking for that particular joint.
How long we in here? First podcast, we at 1 hour and 9 minutes. Look at us go now.
You have to chop that up, rub it, squeeze it, chop it down.
I ain't gonna front. That song kind of took me somewhere else. I almost just lost. I forgot we was podcasting for a minute.
I understand.
That shit was deep.
I understand.
That's my shit right there, man.
I think PV was like, yo, y'all should just like hook up a microphone way back. You know what I'm saying? The studio, like just let it ride, and we could have had 50 podcasts from all the stuff we talked about.
We'd have had a lot of content.
Yeah, we'd have been canceled a long time ago too.
Hey, ain't no censorship here. We're just gonna keep it going.
All right, so y'all got you want to put in one more? Y'all want to talk about one more joint? And maybe get into some current events and call it a wrap?
Yeah, that ain't a bad idea. Yeah. We can do one real quick.
So what y'all
final
feeling
like?
What y'all feeling like? The Elements, String Theory,
all right, we'll
We
do
Home, Mother Earth.
Let's do an easy one. We'll do the elements.
The elements.
No.
That's probably the most.
Because that's
Yeah,
throwing
that's
the dedication.
That's probably the most.
All right. Let's do it.
And there's some conversation in there too. You know what I'm saying? Deeper
There
than
is.
just.
It's definitely not. You get what you think. Like what you see is what you get with that track.
Right. So this track right here is The Elements, Understanding, produced by Deborah's son once again. Let's get it. God damn. Cut that out. Run it back.
That's my DJ.
Yo, these hooks, bro, are like platinum
Trying to
status,
tell
bro.
you. The whole
saying,
joint. The whole EP.
Ain't nothing forced about these hooks, bro.
I do this from the heart, boy. You don't know this art, boy. Before we killed Billboard charts, boy. It was trail when we started in them parks, boy. It was hard, Lord. Suffer hard loss. Grab the cardboard, became a yard boss. Suffer hard boss, you subpar boss. X star cross and get your card tossed. To the next BX, she's a long way from Kansas. Cedric was a canvas. And our B-boy stanzas. Homie got the cans and we tighten up your transit. Holding weight like them sumos be. Kang goes with them Kumo D's. Rep my roots, no kizzy C. I'm buzzing on stage, I get busy B.
2 turntables in the mixer. That's my DJ. Who gon' move the crowd with these lyrics? That's my MC. Backspins on the cardboard. That's my B-boy. Artwork speaking off the walls. That's my G-boy.
Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. Nobody else gon' ride. Put 'em on blast for the world if the pen don't work. Gotta bust clean off for the mind. Let me get a helicopter. Suicide watch, better come clean when we break. Take your time in a minute, go line for line. When you come from the 518.
Hey.
I'll rock when we walk, rhyme when we talk. You journey, you better go big. Put 'em on wax so fresh, DJs know you better go dig. Got them crates moving, tables moving, crush grooving, don't stop. On my LL, we rock the bells, my mail and mail.
2 turntables in the mixer. That's my DJ. Who gon' move the crowd with these lyrics? That's my MC. Backspins on the cardboard. That's my B-boy. Artwork speaking off the walls. That's my G-boy. I'm so hip-hop, like Adidas with the shell top. Spray cans in the head knock. Boy, come and get your head rocked. Up and down like 6 o'clock, we don't stop. Sky's the limit, we on top. Disrespect, I think not. Culture vultures get shot. Nice 10 plus swings war like pop. Get scratched, get cut, get mixed, get a limp in your walk. Hip-hop. All around the world, they adore hip-hop. London and Cape Town, applaud hip-hop. Universal language of the poor hip-hop. Can't ignore hip-hop. We keep the record spinning like solar systems. Hieroglyphing all on your buildings. Ignite your ciphers, beam lights and wisdom. Busting power moves with the flawless finish like
Bleachers and third piece, sir, with them speakers, just get the block ready. Like beatbox by them beat cops and them street tops, we gon' rock steady. By the bleachers and third piece, sir, with them speakers, just get the block ready. Beatbox by them beat cops and them street tops, we gon' rock steady.
2 turntables in the mixer. That's my DJ.
Man, listen. Listen.
Backspins on the
Listen.
car.
What better? What better homage to?
To current. I mean, 2018, we did this, and I gotta tell you, like, when I hear this beat, I'm like, why would we talk about hip hop on a beat like this? The beat is flames all the way through, of course, it's thorough. But I'm like, if I'm gonna do something that, I'm talking about hip hop, I'm gonna do something that like premiere with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course, Beverson, he got mad stuff like that. That kind of like
Everybody
emulates
goes
that.
conventional.
But I'm saying exactly.
Everybody
but this right
goes.
here, a whole nother direction because hip hop is other than what you may think it is in that box. And I'm like, to
And
have
that's-
this beat.
Yeah, when I first heard this, I heard the boom bap, I heard the trap. It kind of got a mashup of both of those elements, and I was like, "Yo, this it just sounds like hip hop, like a mashup of new and old."
Absolutely.
And that's where the elements was just. We got to talk about the elements. Us being MCs, us being purveyors of hip hop, it's only right that we actually cover the elements. And our album, our first album, in a world where the elements have been forgotten.
Yes.
Who better to bring it back?
Why
Like you
not?
said, when you started asking, like, who remembers like graffiti cats and
Yeah.
break dances and stuff, like not too many hands come up, but now it is kind of coming back. You know what I'm saying? I see him on a lot of social platforms and a lot of b-boy crews, a lot of graffiti crews, and people are taking it to the next level because branding is the thing now with social media. So everybody's coming back. Like even the old school artists are coming back doing stuff. You know, I see cats from Rocksteady coming back,
Oh, yeah.
branding like,
Right.
Yeah, it all flips around.
And you know, not for nothing, if you look around the world today, hip hop has really penetrated every culture, from graffiti and how big brands and businesses do logos and everything, and how they try to appeal to their people. The dances that go around, you know, it may not be the same breaking, but hip hop dances worldwide.
Yep.
DJs, I mean, it started as DJs, you know, the regular 2 turntables DJs. Now they got the electric turntables and they doing EDM with it. It's worldwide. You know what I mean? Of course, MC-ship is, you know, I don't know if y'all hear some of these like rappers from other countries, but sometimes I don't know what the hell they saying, but I love to hear it. I'm just like, go ahead. It's the French dudes. I'm like, yo, go ahead, spit that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what you saying,
Yeah.
but I know you on cadence and I know that's hip hop and I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
the spirit is there.
definitely alive, man. I'm happy that we could bring that together on that track.
That's our duty. That's our duty. I feel like everybody who picks up a pen, picks up a mic, you owe it. You owe the culture. You got to pay some type of dues, and what better way to do it than to give honor, pay homage, do something that keeps the foundation intact. I don't know any other thing, any other community that people are a part of where you don't have to know the origin, you don't have to know the foundation, you don't have to know certain pillars.
Right.
And I think we take that for granted because our culture gets exploited a lot. You know what I'm saying? Which is, you know, it's a downside to it, but not even just, you know, everything flips around. It's a circle with everything.
Oh God.
The fashion comes back, the vernacular comes back, all those things come back.
They paying overseas, bro. In some European countries, they actually take certain like New York City hip hop styles.
Yes.
And they charge them thousands of dollars. For
There's
like a pair
whole
of
tournaments,
pants.
like there's whole tournaments out there internationally, like, you know, stuff I don't know how
breaking, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
everything. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
it happens, and even stuff that may have been influential to hip hop. Because even if you think about the people that were putting together, like even the names that we're referencing, I'm sure they weren't formally calling it hip hop as they were creating it, and they had a lot of influences too. So you could see something that's dated like b-boying, but even just locking or breaking, and it'll be something that it was a craze with the inner city at a certain point in time, and then we drop it and we create something new. But now there's whole countries of people having tournaments where it's just breaking, just b-boying. We throw things away like, and I kind of call them. I mean, you got your base foundation elements, but then you have other things I feel like are certain. They're trace elements, or they're just as important, but they're probably not at the forefront of the base 4 or 5. But things like beatboxing,
Right.
stuff like that, they're very essential to hip hop. And it was trendy for us, you know, small community, small group at one point in time. We kind of drop it, we start doing other things, but then a whole nother country or nationality will have tournaments, they'll have festivals
Right.
just focused on that one element. It's that impactful.
And they've all come a long way, bro.
Yes.
Like turntablism, beatboxing, like breaking. It's next level, bro. It's 2021
Yes.
type stuff,
Yeah.
bro. You know what I mean? Just imagine somebody that breakdances now battling somebody from like 85.
Yeah.
It would be a slaughter. Because you got to
Yeah.
be damn near a gymnast nowadays to do something that impresses
B-boy
me.
Tata.
It's
Homeboy that
crazy.
be with Big Daddy Kane.
Yes.
This dude is an athlete, man. He could have been in the NFL.
It's crazy. Although
I
I
mean, you know,
don't.
if we look at it, sorry to cut you off. Even if we look at graffiti, right? Like, you look all over the world, you see giant murals on walls. You know what I mean? Now, okay, we can take that back to the ancients and all of that too, but
Right.
hip hop definitely
hip-hop.
resurrected that.
Yeah.
And you see that everywhere now. Every major city, when you walk in a downtown urban area, you're going to see some sort of graffiti on the wall. It may not be a tag of somebody per se, but it is a mural that represents, you know, either the community or something. It's hip hop to me. You know what I mean? So that is, yo, you said something, man. And we're gonna pen this for another show. It's another pen, bro. But
That's another
do
pin,
we
bro?
own hip hop, or who owns hip hop?
That's a good conversation.
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
that's
that's-
gonna get deep.
Yeah.
That's gonna get deep because
That's
you
a
got the
hope.
corporations, you
Yeah.
got the fans, you got the you know, the MCs, the people who are actually artists within the realm of hip hop. Who owns hip hop? Who's in control of this shit? Because sometimes, unfortunately, like you said, it gets exploited. You know what I mean?
And that's business, and that's the crazy part, bro. Is like we co-sign a lot of that bull crap. Just humans, I'm saying.
Yeah.
We co-sign a lot of it, and like you said, knowledge. We let it not just the beauty of it, the practice it every day, but we also let the business go because we have a lot of old school cats, man, from Golden Era and before, dying broke. You know what I mean? Like they don't have anything, and it's like, damn, it's sad. You know what I'm saying? It's like you feel it, and it's like, you gave me something in my life that I still practice and share with young people coming up.
Yes.
And to do creative writing, to do some type of some art where you're expressing yourself, whether it be through graffiti or creative writing. But these guys are dying, broke, but they did something so great.
Yeah.
That's like you know what I'm saying. You remember like your NFL superstars, whatever. And it's like then you meet them one day and they're homeless. It's like,
right.
See, I got your poster on my wall, bro.
They provided some of the best memories of your life.
Literally, you could change the world and die nobody. Talk about Tesla. You know what I mean? I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? But imagine if he wasn't in place. Imagine if Bismarcky wasn't there to put on Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying?
Every Tesla, there's an Edison.
Yes. So we have to learn to be. We have to learn to be. To use that Edison, because there's a lot of Edisons out there. We got to learn to utilize these people and to make sure we keep them accountable for what we give them. You know what I'm saying? That goes to in any relationship, man, because we co-sign a lot of bull crap and we let people get away with stuff. Even locally, bro, I'm saying 518, like I got stories, man.
Yeah, I know.
People brokenhearted out there because they had their dreams stolen from them or their movement stolen from them. Then they just get written out of the local conversation.
Yeah.
People who have been forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we definitely going to come back to some DJ stuff next time on like local DJs, radio DJs. How important is the DJ?
Right.
That's a whole
DJ Nate the Great. He put something up online. I think actually that would be a dope topic right there. Because he put up something, bro, and a lot of DJs had some good stuff to say.
He was asking, he was requiring DJs to define the importance of the thing that they do. And that's a whole
and
universe.
what a DJ is specifically.
Yep.
And
a lot of these motherfuckers is paid for hire, man.
But that's everybody.
That's it, man.
That's every.
That's like
that's
what
every
happened to the
facet.
craft, though. What
in the
happened to
commercial realm.
Because y'all supposed to be the curators of the culture. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be directing us, guiding us to what's real, what's right. And you
want to get into this now?
Everything's for sale.
You want to get?
No, we gotta wait. We gotta wait.
We gotta wait. Y'all gotta wait for that.
We gotta wait. You can do a show on just every isolated element.
Look at Sess. You want to go in?
Yeah,
so
I do, but we gonna save that. We gonna
let's
put a pen
save
in
that
that
one, bro.
Like.
Yeah.
So yo, let's close this out with some current events, man. What's going on in the world? What's in the group chat, man? We got a group chat on IG, and we just be dropping all types of crazy stuff we see, things that's going on in the world. What's popping, man?
In the group chat,
we were talking about one. We're talking about a couple.
Let's talk about a couple, and then let's wrap it up and get the hell
so
up out
I'm
of here.
saying though, if Tyson gets in the ring, well, homie, I already know who I'm putting my money on.
Mike Tyson versus Dr. Umar.
Mike Tyson, yeah.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm talking about the Fury fight.
I will be there.
Bro, this is some clown stuff, bro.
I will be there,
This
bro,
is some
for the
clown
king
stuff.
of consciousness.
This is wild, bro.
The Prince of Pan-Africanism.
The Prince of Pan. Yo, he a big dude, though. Don't front. Y'all remember when we brought him to Newburgh?
That don't mean nothing.
Yo,
you've seen the people Tyson fought, right?
Yes, right. But Tyson,
Come
you know
on,
what I
bro.
mean? You put Umar in there, get him some Floyd
That don't mean
Mayweather
nothing.
training.
You've never seen anything.
That don't mean
You
nothing.
have never seen anything that Umar.
I got my money on Umar, bro.
In what
it's all going
capacity?
to the school, man. He gonna build this school
Then
off
you
of this
can
fight.
make a donation, bro. Because
Yeah, do that.
if you make a bet, you're about to lose. Bro, you might as well just make a donation, bro.
Yo,
because
bro.
you can't put money on this dude. I mean,
I'm front row for that.
cool. Umar, one thing, his brand, what he does, that's separate from the ring, though, bro.
Nah, I feel you.
I know you know
Lightning
this.
might
being
taking that.
facetious. I'm definitely being facetious.
But why is this conversation even being had on the internet, bro?
But
Like,
then
what?
again, Mike is on that toad, bro. You know what I mean? Maybe them punches ain't coming through as much as they used to. He
No, he's gonna
peaceful
break
man,
by
man.
accident.
He's gonna
he
break
will,
that
by
man.
accident. Just by accident, he would knock that fool into the next.
He's
century.
gonna break. Listen, if Roy
For
Jones, if Roy
Dr.
Jones
Umar got
Jr., if Roy Jones Jr.
bro.
is dancing away from a non-prime Mike Tyson holding him,
Bro.
so them punches can't get to the body, Umar stands no chance.
Bro.
But
Stands no
Umar
chance.
got the
Ain't happening.
ancestors with him, brother.
No.
Yeah, every ass he
He
Frederick
got
Douglass.
the Frederick Douglass,
Frederick
Marcus
Douglass.
Garvey with him.
Nah, bro, Garvey about
Come
to step
on.
out for real.
Yeah.
Be like, bro, don't do this.
Yep.
Don't do it. You better make amends.
Oh
From
man.
one man to the next. Make amends real quick. And Frederick, what's he like, third, fourth generation removed from Frederick? He's saying he's a
I'm
great,
not sure
great,
what the
great-
lineage is.
Yeah.
Bro, he gonna come out and be like, yo, don't use my name like that, bro.
Nah.
Don't use my name. Don't diss me like
He gonna
that.
need more than ancestors. He gonna need talismans
and
and
the ambulance.
ancient gods and
An
shaman,
ambulance.
all that.
Yo,
For
my
real.
money's on the Prince of the Pan-Africanism, man.
Lightning Mike.
My goodness.
All right. What else, y'all? Yo, the Chappelle joint.
Yeah.
What about it?
Too many lines, bro.
The
Too
GOAT.
Too
The
much
GOAT.
to talk about, bro. See, I love what he does,
GOAT.
man. He puts something out there. See, to do what he does, number one, he had no teleprompter. Nothing like that. This is all off the top of his head.
Right.
But it's practice. I'm
It's
sure
practice,
he
yeah,
has some.
definitely.
But I'm saying though, to do that and deliver it with hardly any like ums and mess ups and bring nothing. My man just came through and came. So it's like, is this a conversation he's having? Or is this stuff that's like already written? And to have him be like, not even have too many punchlines, but it still be funny, still be humorous, because we find little tiny nuances and it's like, wow, that really makes sense. So does it have to be funny to actually, does it have to be like a joke to be funny, or does it have to make sense and also be funny? Because things are funny that make sense. Right? And he's dropping a lot of sense, a lot of comments. That's how far we're disconnected from common sense. Because when common sense is said, deep down we know it's true, and we're like, wow, I know that, and this makes it even funnier.
Right. I like that he was very fearless. The community he spoke about, is notorious for the quote unquote cancel culture and silencing people. And I just love that he's fearless and speaking up. And yo, man, if y'all got to be able to take a joke too, man, straight up. How many times I think self-deprecation and just making serious topics a little bit more lighthearted through a joke, I think that's how people can actually connect. You know what I mean? And I have seen from other people who are a part of those communities appreciate that, because he does go that extra mile to make that joke, and some of the stuff is just funny, man. He does it in the interest of comedy. So I was just happy to see him just no holds bar take it there. Now I know he's received a lot of backlash from that stuff, but I appreciate what he did, man, because I feel like a lot of that stuff needed to be said. The racism in the LGBT community is definitely a real thing. You know what I mean? And yo, man, y'all got to get this smoke too. Y'all give everybody else the smoke, but when somebody give you a little smoke, y'all want to cry foul. You know what I mean? And so,
Hey, I'm a fan of the freedom to talk about whatever subject you feel like you want to talk about. I'm not with the censorship. Like, you don't have to like it. There's tons of comics, you know what I'm saying? And some of them I felt funny, I thought were funny. Some of them I didn't. So like, even in the past, it's like we're in that environment now where it's that whole PC cancel culture / don't offend anyone. And it's like there's no hard line, because what offends you, all that is relative. What you find funny is relative.
right.
So what happens when we're dealing with an art form where there's all different kinds of styles? If we were in the 80s, you had Andrew Dice Clay, you had all type
my
of
goodness.
Sam Kinison, all
Eddie
type
Murphy.
of all type
Rodney
of comics.
Dangerfield.
Yep, and people would say, well, it didn't age well. Well, who's to say it's supposed to age well to the point where it's indicative of that time in history?
Right.
You remember when they were trying to cancel like Eddie Murphy recently in the past 4 years of a show that he did back in, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I even bring that up. That was a different time, what they did and they understood.
Right.
Different
Not saying-
person.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't cancel him now. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, his audience that appreciated it, like they bought it, and now we're all moved on.
Yeah, I'm
Everybody has to grow.
not with the censorship, because it's too much of a slippery slope. Like, okay, who has the deeper thing of the whole Dave Chappelle because I ain't gonna tell you how to feel about it. You your own
right,
person.
right.
I'm not gonna tell you gotta think it's funny. I ain't gonna tell you got. But what you have to do,
Right.
what I think you must do, especially as a U.S. citizen or just a human being that's in respect of other people's human rights, is respect his freedom of speech.
Right.
Because you have that too. I'm not with the whole censorship to the point where you can't say anything. And the deeper thing about his stand-up and even the reaction to his stand-up, there's a lot of deep things, but the deep thing for me, it shows you the power dynamic in our community and in our society. And when you look at how certain groups of people mobilize to stop a thing, to cancel a thing, I would ask you to look at what other communities, what groups have that. What groups do you feel don't have that? Like, I feel like I don't know what you want to call us, African American, indigenous, what's the BIPOC, all different types of names and different things we got.
FBA.
Yeah, every time. Where's the defamation league that we got? Or something that if somebody says something that we feel is offensive to us in our community, we can just put the stamp and the blockade on it and starve it out.
Right. All we got is Black Twitter.
Black Twitter.
That's
Yeah,
all
we got
we got is
Black
Black Twitter. Where we don't have any way to legally
That's the
sanction
voice.
them or boycott them. You know, I mean, I guess it shows strength in their community for them to be able to band together to say, "Yo, you say something about us, you gonna get this smoke." I see the same thing with the Jewish community. You say something bad, or you anti-Semitic, you get that label real quick, and they on your ass. They start pulling
real quick
funds
Everything.
away. You know, we haven't come together enough to really be able to defend ourselves when we see a lot of this bullshit that happens that people in these other communities are very quiet about. You know what I mean? So
That was his whole point. I'm like, that's what I don't know if people just got short attention span. The craziest thing, because I don't think this was the most potent stand-up in the series, because in that other one, when he was talking about the executive that he was dealing with at Comedy Central,
right,
where he was using the F word,
right.
and she was like, "Oh,
It's
well,
okay to call
you
me-
can't
yeah.
say that because you're not that."
right,
And he's like, "Well, I'm not a nigga either."
Right.
That shit, it's beyond comedy. Like, he's using an artistic medium to get you to think about a deeper thing.
right.
So it's like, all right, if you ain't ready to have that conversation, you ain't ready to look at yourself in the mirror on how you feel about that and how it applies to you.
Right.
Then maybe you should put on Hello Kitty or
Right.
watch cartoons
And
or something.
yeah, right. You could always do this one thing.
Yeah.
Switch to another station. Switch to another video. You don't have to watch it.
You don't.
Especially when you want to set limitations on artists.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you want to set a limitation on me, then you got to like actually set a limitation on like everything that comes before us. But it's funny how you want to co-sign this, but you don't want to co-sign this. And I would say every group that's out there, everybody going to be offended about something, and everybody's going to be hypocritical on something. Because you could be pro LGBTQ all day, every day, and then say one thing out of line, and when you express an opinion or another perspective,
He talked about that.
They
His
coming
friend.
for you, yeah, they coming for you. But
Crazy.
you know, people
You
have to
gotta
have
go
a
with the herd.
conversation. You gotta have a conversation though.
We're going to put a pin in this one too.
All right.
But groupthink. Groupthink is
Groupthink.
another thing we definitely got to talk about, man. We got to unpack groupthink, how dangerous it is, how prevalent it is.
Herd mentality.
That herd mentality is a mug.
I've definitely strayed away from that because dogma is a serious thing in these groups, man. It's just like some of it's cool, some of it's destructive. So
Yeah.
let's definitely talk about that.
Right. And then I think lastly, y'all want to talk about Squid Games or something?
Squid Game?
Squid Games. Y'all
You want
watch?
to talk about Squid Games
mean,
or the
yeah, what-
whistleblowers?
Well, okay.
Which
okay.
y'all wanna talk about?
Whatever. We can talk about both. What time we got?
Were there any whistleblowers in the
Damn,
Squid
we
Game?
over our time.
We are over the time.
Up.
Well, I gotta say, you know what I'm saying, well,
Pick one,
okay,
whatever.
That's a long damn. Squid Games talks about a lot, bro, because it
Assume-
goes into the addiction of people, and they were taken advantage of. A lot of them, most of them came back when they got let go. You know what I'm saying? They signed off to let go, and most of them came back. It was like, yo, about to lose my damn life for all this money, and they did. You know what I mean?
That was
It's
deep.
tough. Because the reality is nobody would be leaving that game for sure. If it was like real, nobody would be leaving.
Crazy. Crazy.
After you,
it's happening right now,
after you play
bro.
red light, green light, you seen a couple niggas get smoked. You might
That wasn't even
bro.
the. That wasn't
Nah.
even the pinnacle. The pinnacle of it for me was when it wasn't the game. It was the behavior of the participants. Once they
Right.
saw that their fellow man died under any circumstance, the pot keeps filling up. What was the collective? Because that, what was the collective decision? It go right into your whole. I know we put a pin in it, but you talking about the group mentality, herd mentality. What was everybody's collective behavior once they saw that as a result?
Right.
They were like, they didn't care about you. Like,
Hey.
yo, as long as that bowl keeps getting thicker with money, full of money.
Yes.
I don't care about your life at that point.
And
And you
that-
trying to be the last man standing.
Yes.
It's no group going through. It's only one dude. So if we was in it, I would look at y'all and be like, yo, both y'all gonna die because I'm winning. Or you looking at us like, yo, I'm gonna win and both y'all gonna die. So somebody's dying. So you don't care about your next man. So you don't care about the next man next to you. All you care about is that damn money. And for real, they could have put a bullet right in your head as soon as you walked out. Game over for you too.
Right.
What's gonna happen? Nothing.
The thing I didn't grasp in the beginning of it was that it was only supposed to be, it was a last man standing type game.
Yeah.
I didn't, like in the beginning, it made it seem like maybe 5 of them could leave with that pot if they passed every game. Not like, yo, it's going to go down to the last man standing. I think that
The
kind of
games were
changes
set
it.
up to be taking out all of them and only having one man.
Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't gather that in the beginning, but as
you
I
see the whole
watched,
thing or
yeah,
no?
I seen the whole thing.
Okay.
I seen the whole thing. I mean, it ended up being that,
Yeah.
amazing series though, man. Which episode was your crazy? It was the craziest one for y'all.
Crazy.
Which game I should say? Which game was the craziest?
Crazy one.
What I liked the one I liked,
The
it wasn't
tug of war
crazy.
was dope.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah.
I like that one the
Which
most.
Tug of War.
Tug of War
yeah,
is the
that
one I
was-
liked the most. It wasn't the deepest or the craziest,
Yeah.
but the strategy and what they did, like that was my favorite one. The one that was the craziest, I feel like mind bending might have been the honeycomb joint.
Honeycomb, yeah.
And then they play with a lot. The honeycomb one, and then the one at the I think it might have been the game right before the end,
With the
where
glass,
they had to
jump-
make their own game with the partner that they chose.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was mine.
Because it gets crazy, like the friendship you had with people. What was your strategy? You think it's gonna be this way, so I'm gonna pick this person I'm cool with, only to figure out you against the person. Like it played with everything. It played
Same
with
thing with the honeycomb one. Like,
Yeah.
Like, what would you pick? Would you pick the umbrella? Would you pick the circle? Would you pick something that's very mundane and simple, or would you pick something that's kind of cool?
if you got knowledge of the situation, are you gonna
Correct.
share it?
right? Are
Will you
gonna
share it with
Right.
people? You know what I'm saying? It goes to your moral fabric, the underpinning of who you are as a person. You know, if I got information on it, but then that makes you I can't be a human to you and share knowledge with you and give you a fair chance because I'm seeing you as opposition. If I
don't-
see you that way,
I
I'm not
don't
gonna give
know.
you any kind of information.
Don't know what I don't know what 340 billion is over here in U.S. dollars.
Yeah, I,
I
don't know
looked
what
it
the
up.
money.
It was like a couple 100 million. That's what it was.
Word?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a couple hundred
a
million.
smooth
For
500
real.
million or something.
I'm sure
Yeah, or
Americans
something like that.
right now, they would play that game even if it was only like a $500,000, $100,000
Yeah.
winning. They could care less about people dying left and right.
Hey. What do they say? Everybody has a price.
That's everybody got a price, straight up. I mean, when you got people out here shooting people for like sneakers,
over $20.
yeah, I mean $20.
Let me buy $20
For real.
tomorrow.
Yo,
Yeah.
that's the value of life. Do you value life?
Yeah, man. And then
You
it's
value life. We
Oh.
living with savages, bro.
Then it's like the alchemic approach. I thought the dude at the end was trying to put people through some type of rigorous thing that would make them better at the end of it. But I wasn't sure. That's the one that was a cliffhanger for me. Was the dude who was putting it all together, the old man who was number one.
Right.
Him having the chronic illness, and then he's saying that the majority of the people that he selects for the games got some type of chronic illness, or they super in debt. Something is crazy with him to begin with. I thought the whole purpose of him doing it, like a side effect of it, was the person, almost like some Saw-like Willy Wonka joint, where it's gonna purify the person who comes out of it at the end is gonna be a better person than they were to begin with, because the main protagonist It seemed like that's what happened to him.
It did happen to him because at the end, when they made that bet, number one, the old guy was like, yo, I bet you nobody helps him before midnight. And then the guy the main dude was like, he had to be challenged. Does he have faith in humanity? Because he just saw humanity go down the drain. But then he was like, yo, am I convinced that we are all savages, or do I see that little beam of light coming through? And he was right. Somebody did come back and help him. So his faith in humanity was kind of restored. So the game didn't beat him. He beat himself. He understood where he was. And he was like, yo, I really got to think positive, and like, life does have something to live for. Life has something to offer. Because you could actually come out that game and be like, yo, people don't care about nothing.
Right.
I'm going for mine. I would have choked that old dude.
That was deep,
like,
bro. You know what room he was in? You remember what room he was in?
The room?
The room that he was in
that building?
In the hospital, yeah.
Tell me.
7.
Oh, okay. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
so
7th floor,
yeah, it was funny. Because I almost
playing God.
Yeah, man. I felt like it was even more existential than everybody gave it credit for.
Because universally, 7 does represent God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of culture. So a lot more was there. That's why Squid Games was super popular, man. There's like so many people can relate to so many different things.
That bridge game was probably my favorite. That was kind of fun to me to watch. I mean, not necessarily fun, but it was interesting to watch. You know
That's
what I mean?
like people dying in different ways.
Nah, it was just because, like, yo,
That
you
was the
never
final
know.
one.
You gotta jump on these joints, and
Yeah.
that was before the last one. The last one was actually the Squid Game.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Right. But yeah, I appreciated that one. Yeah, man. So,
It's kind of like what's that one? Mad Max with Tina Turner.
Yeah.
Two men enter, one man leave.
Yep.
And everybody
The
out there like, yo,
Thunderdome.
we about to. That's what it is, bro. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Break
We got to
a deal,
bring
face
back
the
the
wheel.
Coliseum, bro. Bring back the Coliseum.
yeah, that's
Let's
like
bring it
MMA.
back.
That's MMA.
But that's what it was.
That's Umar
For the
versus
elite
Tyson.
people.
We just trolling now.
Yeah. But yo, man, y'all ready to wrap this up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all feeling good? First episode down in the bag.
I
It's
feel
so
great.
much
This
more
is
to say.
awesome, bro. I
We
want to
got
thank you, bro, for bringing this up to us, bro. Yo, if y'all can see this studio, man, it's wild.
You got to. You got to give salutes.
Plain pale.
You got to
wall,
bow
but yo,
down to the
over
power
here,
Sess Fifth because he's
For
been
real, for real.
building.
It's the mothership, man.
We was in there, and it was like it was a garage.
yeah, it was
Now
a
it's a
garage.
freaking mini.
It's a
freaking
multimedia
suite mansion.
It's
bro.
a multimedia studio.
It's a club now. It's like, yo, this is amazing.
Had to do something during this pandemic, man. Besides going to the goddamn refrigerator. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Word. But shout outs to y'all, man. Great
Peace,
brothers,
peace.
great conversation. Good episode 1. For everybody watching, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit all those buttons. Make sure y'all tune in next time. We're gonna be here. We're gonna try to keep this as a regular, consistent thing. We appreciate y'all time. And yo, go stream the album, man. Go stream the album. Go tell Deborah's son his shit is fire. DJ Cash. Shout outs to JB too, who did the mastering. Amani O, who was the only feature we had, who killed the intro. Everybody who was a part of the album, man. We appreciate y'all.
100%.
And the artwork, what's his name? It's been a minute, bro. So I'm so out the dang loop, bro.
Damn.
Why we forgetting important people, bro?
The drummer, right?
Yeah.
Steve, is his name?
Steve, there we go.
Steve,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Big ups to Steve.
Yo, shout outs to Steve, man. Sorry we forgot your
Yeah.
name, man. It's all love.
Art came out on point.
Forgive our heads, not our hearts, man. But yo, man, we out of here.
Of all these things, gain ye understanding.
That's right.
What happened to peace, though?
Peace.
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 360 degrees, pushing bars up, scribble on a sheet with them scabs getting scarred up. I've been like to reflect what you missing, so we listen to some knowledge yourself, so pay attention.